Gracias por el recibimiento, Adam. La verdad es un honor. Yo quisiera preguntarle sobre una participación que tú tuviste, 100 Tears, que es sobre la historia de dos periodistas contra un asesino en serie. Entonces yo quisiera preguntarte sobre cómo ha sido como el poder darle un toque de pronto a su participación en esta historia. ¿Qué opinas sobre las historias de los periodistas referentes en los siniestros?
Okay, Alan, we are going earlier in your career with your participation in 100, it's 100 Tears, yes?
Yes.
Yes, man. Not only tell us about this participation, but what is your opinion about, yes, the movies about journalists, man? Because Jhon and myself, we are journalists in Colombia. And so we want to know and tell us about this very, very early role, man. It's a lot of years.
Yeah. Well, you guys are going very far back. The 100 Tears was probably the first professional job that I got as an actor. Was working as a brand ambassador for, I think, Mountain Dew at the time. And one of my friends on that tour, she was, I believe, producing it. And she was like, hey, I probably can get you in the movie. And I had, shared my interest in acting at the time. And I signed on initially as a production assistant. So I was just kind of getting coffee, doing whatever they needed me to do on set. And then they had this scene where a bunch of people break into this warehouse and ended up getting cut in half. So it was an interesting first movie to do, to say the least. The effects was done by Marcus Kosh.
In fact, we got one from Sick, one of the killer clowns. Jhon, we got also from
Bob Willis.
Clown. No, not only Bob Willis. We got also from Killjoys. We got Killer Clowns. Jhon, ¿algún payaso asesino más? No, Killjoys, Sid.
Sí, está.
You guys interviewed Sid?
Yes, we interviewed Bob Willis, the creator from Sid, man. This was one of the most crazy interviews. He's a really old man. Crazy, he's a teacher, and he was a beautiful interview. Yeah, it's great to know somebody who loves Sid, man.
That's really cool. That's really neat.
Yes, no, continue talking, man. Go ahead. I will.
Well, yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah, I was mostly just a production assistant, and they asked me, hey, we have this scene. We got to meet a bunch of teenagers to break into this warehouse, and you're going to get killed by a clown. And I was more than happy to oblige. It was fun. I had my guts all on the ground, got to do some screaming. It was a good experience. I was definitely at the time extremely excited.
Bueno, aparte de que empezó con una de terror, también él ha tenido varias participaciones de roles que son roles esporádicos, como decimos. Yo quisiera preguntarte, ¿cuál es la enseñanza que tienes sobre estos roles, sobre muchos que han pasado acá en el canal? Dicen, bueno, yo aprendí de pronto una anécdota, aprendí de pronto tener la oportunidad de poder interactuar con alguna persona que aprendí esto, porque hablo de dos producciones, Shiny White y My Best Friend's Girl, que yo no lo creía. O sea, eso es como estos cortos, estas historias la ven en la fraternidad de los Estados Unidos. Entonces yo no sabía eso. Entonces, ¿qué opinas sobre eso?
Not only your role in Silent White and a girlfriend and My Best Friend's Girl, but the experience about, because we also got the opportunity to talk with a lot of actors and actresses that do sporadic roles. And so tell us about the experience. And great, because these are movies like for frat boys, no? We know that is like a category for movies, no? For movies that they watch on the university. So go ahead, tell us.
Oh, no, those two films specifically, I was just an extra. So, there at the time, I was just starting out my career. I was trying to get work, and those aren't necessarily official credits. I wouldn't say I am actually, in fact, uncredited in those movies, but I was just trying to get my feet wet. I wanted to be on bigger productions with larger budgets, see the flow of the crew and how they communicate with each other. Because, being in front of the cameras, my first passion, but I do have an appreciation behind the camera. So I was basically an extra in both of those movies.
Es que también, bueno, está de roles de terror, también está en lo que son temas financieros, man. Es que usted ha interpretado varios géneros y eso es lo importante, porque yo he visto Prime, man. Yo me quedé sorprendido porque a uno me ha tocado aún como que esa vida adulta de que paga la hipoteca, uno le da terror eso. Entonces, ¿qué opinas sobre esta historia y además de su participación?
Okay.
And it's great. Okay, go ahead. Yes, you understand. I know.
Subprime was a film that was shot in Orlando, Florida, and it was about the subprime mortgage industry. So when I auditioned for that, I was really excited because I actually worked for a brief period of time as a loan officer, cold calling people to refinance their homes. At the time, it was, everybody was refinancing their houses. I mean, and these guys in these shops, they were, forging W-2 documents, photoshopping fake pools in the back of people's houses. So, these loans, they would balloon. And so I was familiar with what was going on in the script. So I was really excited when that opportunity came across to me because, I knew that world. My brother had done that for several years. I knew how vicious some of these guys can be on the call and do, literally whatever it takes to close a deal. So that was really small budget. It was, I think we shot that with $10,000. It was a great script. A lot of really good actors in that are working still to this day. I loved it.
And I envy Jhon because he watched it. I really need to watch it because I love movies about.
I'm curious how Jhon watched it because I haven't seen that in a long time.
I will ask. Jhon, ¿dónde viste Subprime? ¿Cómo la viste?
Yo lo vi en Daily Motion. Yo lo que le digo, en Daily Motion se consigue trabajos viejísimos, pero también se consigue trabajos que la verdad muchas personas han hecho. Por ejemplo, me gustó la edición, cómo está la música. No, man, eso es increíble.
Yeah. Wow, I'm going to have to look on Daily Motion for it because I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I was really young in that.
Jhon, creo que el otro especie de payaso que tuvimos, obviamente fue Tina Bell en Circus Kane.
Ah, sí, man. Tina Bell estuvo aquí.
Yes, Tina Bell did. Yes. The other clown that we had is the amazing Tina Bell from Circus Kane, man. But I know that we'll add more, and I will do like a list, and of course I will add 100 tears.
Are you guys horror guys? Do you guys watch a lot of horror films? Like, what's your genre?
Yes, in fact, I will tell you a little secret about the channel. Jhon is studying in the university, and he started as a project from his thesis. His thesis is about horror and es horror, Jhon, sobre horror y qué más?
Horror y terror.
Horror and terror. But man, the project got bigger and bigger. So now it's like a full-time project. Of course, we don't win money with this, but man, we are having the time of our lives. And yes, we're gonna say like we are terror and horror guys, man. You watch the channel. In fact, we got the greatest thing is that in the channel, we still cannot believe it. We got Tom Holland, the creator from Chucky. I mean, really, man.
That's exciting, man. You guys are killing it, dude. Like I personally did a 10 interview series, so I know how much work it takes to reach out to people. And then you have people that don't necessarily email you back or, they tell you no. So I applaud you guys. I mean, it's really, really cool what you do. It's amazing.
Thank you, man. No, Jhon is amazing. And for me, it's great to be part, not only a translator. Somehow I found some like 4 or 5 on the interviews, but man, it's like 300 interviews. So it's crazy.
And that's a lot of work. So this project that you guys are working on for your thesis, is it a feature or is it What is it exactly? Is it a full-length film or is it a short film or?
I am still waiting because the project is from Jhon. I'm just like a collaborator.
Yes.
But I will ask Jhon because I don't know. Jhon, pregunta acá. Obviamente sé que estás haciendo un documental, pero ¿es un largo, es un corto, es un medio?
Es un largo. Es como un documental porque hay varias personas, pero...
Very cool. Very cool.
No, man, thank you. In fact, Jhon was writing me on the chat that, no, man, we are enjoying it. We are enjoying this interview. So,
great.
Yes,
great.
I'm still searching for more clowns. I know we got more, but Jhon, que dice que estoy buscando por más payasos. Obvio.
De hecho, está Clown Motel, man. El universo de Clown Motel ya lo entrevistamos.
Yes, man, we got some. Yes, I know it. Thank you, Jhon. We got more from interviews from all the Clown Motel universe. No, man, it's crazy. Yeah, 100 tears. Jhon, tienes que ver 100 lágrimas. Hay que buscarla.
Man, es que mire, él trabajó con Julian Prescott, que es la de Skate, la que estuvo Ari Lindman, man. Ari Lindman fue protagonista.
I did with Julianne Prescott. I did a film called
2:22 p.m. Oh,
yes.
Man, yes. Locura.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. This really makes me happy that there's, cinephiles like you out there that appreciate the work, because, that's what it's all about for me. It's like, you hope to be a part of a project that people like and watch. And that one was pretty cool. 222 is a good film.
Tell us more about this film, man.
Sí, yes.
So the director of that film is Stephen Shea, who you should interview, actually. I think he'd be a good interview for you guys. But the director of that film, he's also a huge horror fan. Like, he makes horror films and that's his genre. I think I did a film with him called Doomsday County. And in Doomsday County, I was in Vampire Academy, and he wasn't directing that. But it was distributed through Trauma. Do you guys know? You heard of Trauma?
Yes, of course. Kaufman. In fact, we got James Balsamo. He's one of the pupils from Kaufman.
Yes. So Stephen Shea got the distribution deal through Trauma. And then I believe shortly after that, they were casting for 222. The person that they had casted for that dropped out the last minute. I guess that guy was scared to do a sex scene. And somebody had mentioned it to me, like on Facebook Messenger or something. And they're like, oh, Stephen Shea needs an actor. You should call him. So I called him, and he was like, you know what? We were thinking about you. And he was like, the problem is the girl in that film, she's much taller than me, and I'm not. Soy bien bajito, right?
And Latino, man.
Yeah.
Latin lovers.
And so he was like, that's going to be a problem because she's so tall. And so what they did was they put me on a box. And so I stood on all my scenes with her, I'm standing on an apple box. Wow. And so that ended up being just a really fun project. It got into a bunch of film festivals. I won a bunch of awards. That was a good one.
Jhon, solo te traduciré esto, que nos está invitando, pues que consigamos a Stephen Shea, el director de ese corto, que es un buen director.
Creo que él no es el director de Jodo por Modo.
¿De cuál?
Jodo por Modo.
Yes.
Voodoo for Voodoo, yes.
Wow, man.
Yes, Voodoo for Voodoo.
Yes. That's Stephen.
Wow. And Doomsday County, that is also, digo yo en español, y Doomsday County, Jhon, que es otra película donde está nuestro amigo. Y después te cuento una anécdota.
I think I've worked with Stephen Shea 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
4 or 5, yeah. In Florida, at the time, and this was like, around 2000, and when I graduated high school, 2004, a lot of horror was being produced in Florida. Like, for some reason, people love to shoot horror films here in Florida. And so I got a lot of opportunities to get my feet wet and do horror films. I personally, you know, it's not my favorite genre. When I was younger, I mean, I love, you know, the classics. You know, I love Halloween. I love, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street. I love these films. But you know, here it's just like people go crazy for that stuff, and that was what was available to me. Those were the auditions that I was getting, and so I needed to get my feet wet, and so I did a bunch of stuff with local filmmakers here.
Man, and I understand. In Florida, it's crazy because yes, we know that there's sea, but is the land from metal, heavy metal, okay, death metal and thrash metal in US. And man, it's great because I also graduated from high school in 2004. So now you're breathing. Yes, yeah, I'm older than Jhon. I got 33 years old. Jhon is a little younger.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's great to be here. Jhon, continúa. Y sí, Jhon, Steven Chino, anótalo.
Man, sí, muy notorio todo esto. También, ya que estamos hablando, que mencionaste algo de Florida, man, hay que hablar sobre lo que es Dos Bosch, porque él también comparte pantalla con Roger Smile, man. Sabemos quién es Roger Smile, no hay comparación de eso, solo que preguntarle sobre cómo se sintió un ambiente bastante pulcro, bastante, no gangsta, bastante a lo vieja escuela, man.
And your experience working, of course, with the amazing Keith David, man.
Was it Roger Guenver Smith?
Yes, man, Roger Guenver Smith, Keith David.
Keith David, from
Richard Edson, Christian Monson, yes.
Yeah. Okay, yes, Dutch Book. That was the first real big role, I think, of that I ever had. I was the lead role in that, and so I got to work with a lot of, you know, heavy hitters, guys that have been, you know, acting for 30 plus years. You know, real veterans, professionals. So it was intimidating. I had just started. I think I was in Los Angeles for 1 year at the time. So I was like new to Los Angeles and just the weight of, you know, having to kind of put a production on my back. It was a 14-day shoot, I think we did. And I got to work with Keith David, which is crazy because Keith David is in all kinds of movies. I had a really, really great time working with Richard Edson, who played my father. He was lovely. And Roger Guenver Smith, like you guys said, was a really good experience. A lot of growth for me as an actor on that film. You know, I look back on it, and you know, there's some things that I'm like, I would change this or that. But you know, you gotta fail sometimes to grow. And but overall, man, I'm just really, really happy with that project.
And Keith David was working with Norbert Weiser, man. We got the look to interview Norbert Weiser from the team. Wow.
Not familiar with him.
No, he's the same actor that appeared on Schindler's List. The guy that he's smiling when they're killing the Jews. Auschwitz.
Yes.
It's crazy because he's the first one that killing on the team. They one for the guy from Norway. The one that they killed.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And he even got a figure now, man. Go ahead, Jhon, sigue.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Keith David was telling us a story, that was one of his earlier films in his career. I believe this, if I remember correctly, on set, he said that was one of his first films, and every year after that, he's worked on a film, which, you know, as an actor, like, you could only pray for, like, that kind of success. You know, every year you want to have something coming out. And he said he never stopped working since then. I mean, obviously John Carpenter, you're not gonna really go wrong with John Carpenter.
Yes, no, and rewatching the whole career from Kid is amazing, man.
Oh, yeah,
it's amazing, the movies that so it's great that you had worked with him, man. Jhon, es que obviamente no Kid, ¿no? Apareció en The Team. Y que él desde esa película ha hecho una película cada año, y que es una locura.
Es un maestro.
Maestro.
Truly. And like on set, I'd be, I'd in between takes, he's a singer too. Keith David sings. And so he was always singing a tune, if he was changing wardrobe, or kind of just, going to his mark, it felt like, there was always melody coming out of him, and his voice extremely iconic. I mean, I watch commercials all the time, and, he's not in the commercial, but when he talks, it's Keith David.
Yes, man. Sigue, Jhon.
Bueno, antes de abordar las series de televisión suya, pero quisiera abordar dos producciones en una pregunta. Que primero, interpretar una historia neo-noir y luego interpretar una historia totalmente como que distinta, como de justicieros. Hablo sobre, la calle Quinta de Joey Montana, el famoso nombre, y también la de Double Dumb, que habla de Héctor Suárez. ¿Qué de pronto puede aprender de estos dos personajes?
Yeah, I had moved to LA in 2010, and I was just hustling, trying to get auditions, and I saw a breakdown for 5th Street, and I submitted myself, and they had, on the breakdown, you can see when the audition is. And so I guess I got a little crafty because I noticed, they didn't call me in for this audition, and so I saw who the director was, and I found him on Facebook, and I said, "Hey, you made a mistake." And he's like, "Mistake? What do you mean?" He's like, "You didn't bring me in for this audition. Like I should audition." And he's like, he immediately applauded. He's like, "Wow, this is pretty crafty. Let me talk to my producer." And so he messaged the producer, or whatever happened there. He kind of just told me, "You know what? Just show up. We'll see you." And so I auditioned, and luckily I got the part in that. And that was like my first movie that I shot in Los Angeles, which was really cool because, it's a gangster film, it's like you're playing with guns, and you're immersing yourself in that culture of Los Angeles, and just having that as a backdrop, it was a good time. And Double Down, not so much a similar experience, but I also just auditioned for that. I'm in the inciting incident. So that character, he has a gambling problem, that he's willing to wager, I believe, his relationship with his wife, and I'm in the inciting incident where he loses his job before like his whole world unravels. So I had that was a day of work, some character work, but really proud of that film and what it's done. 5th Street was quite the experience too.
Hay que hablar sobre Short Adam, man.
Oh,
no
yes.
hay la comparación de eso. Mire.
That's my baby. So I wrote that. I directed that. I produced that, with the help of friends, practically no budget. We shot over a 1-year period. I would shoot on the weekends here. I would get a really great location, go steal that location somewhere else. We just kind of chipped away at it until it was done. And I wrote an 8-episode Bible for that show. And that is my baby because I kind of lived through that. I went through an experience where I just feel like sometimes in Los Angeles, there's people that take advantage of the dream, and they say that they have your best interests, whether it be casting or whatever, and coaching you or whatever it is. There's some people out there that are not good people, that are just interested in getting paid and taking advantage of, anyone's dreams. And that's what that story means to me. I felt like I needed to tell that about the unethical things that sometimes happen in that city, as well as just showing, the not so glamorous stuff of being a struggling, anything in that city and trying to survive because it's an expensive place to live. So I had, I got a lot of cool cameos in that. I was Uber driving and I picked up Joel McHale.
Man, how I freaking love the suit, man. Jhon was telling me he worked with Joel. Joel what? Joel McHale, what? You know that Charles Baker was on the channel, man? And how did you get Joel McHale, Charles Baker, and Luna Star, man? How crazy is that, man?
Yeah, so I was Ubering and I picked up Joel and we had a great conversation. It was like there was actually traffic on the 101 and going into Hollywood, and we just chatted. We just about all kinds of stuff. And towards the end of the ride, he was kind of like, "What are you working on?" I'm like, "I'm doing this thing called Short Adam. It's about this." He's like, "That sounds really, really interesting." He's like, "What's your?" And I'm like, "Oh, Adam Lopez Dreams." And he's like, "Cool, I'm following you." And I'm like, "Oh, all right." He's following me. So I just, when it came time I knew that I could do something really short. I asked him for the favor, and Joel was kind enough to show up and be in it. Luna, I did a play in Los Angeles called Extremities. And she's friends of a friend of mine. So we have a mutual friend, and she came to that play. We had dinner afterwards. It was like right before Short Adam was going through my mind. And I asked Luna, I said, I'm thinking about writing this show. Would you be interested in being it? And she was like, absolutely. She was just all the way in. And then Charlie, I met Charlie at a picnic. No, not a picnic. Met Charlie at a backyard birthday party in Los Angeles or in the Valley somewhere. And then I was doing interviews too, much like this. I did a series called The Struggling Artist, and he was one of my guests on that show. And we kind of just kept up with each other since then. And, Breaking Bad, I love Breaking Bad. So it's kind of like when he said yes, I was like, dude, thank you so much. Thank you. So I got lucky, and, I have people that were willing to help me out, quite frankly. Because we didn't have much money. We were just kind of chipping away. Like I said, one weekend here, there was a month that we didn't shoot. I had to save some money to get this location. It adds up pretty quickly. Also, we can't forget Celia Emery. Celia Emery is in that, and she is a beast. She's my heart. I love Celia. That's my champion. If you haven't seen Celia Emery's work, she's amazing in a show called Better Things on FX. And I did a film called One Day Notice with her before then, a short film that I also produced. And she, after we did One Day Notice, we were buddies. We would go see movies, and we would go to red carpet screenings and parties, and that was my buddy. She was great. She is great.
Jhon wasn't going to forgive me if I don't ask you about that. No, man. I am a really big fan of video games, and I know that you appeared on a live action from Dead Space, man. Tell us that. I need to know that, man. But before you answer, Jhon was writing, man. Yes, you have to know it, man. We asked you about Luna because I don't know how in this channel we got Rocco Siffredi, Esperanza Gomez, Veronica Leal, Patty Tetsos, and Edith Everhart, man. I was, what? So, send a big hi to Luna on the channel. And Jhon, man. Jhon Mahale is one of my heroes. And of course, the amazing Charlie. Charlie is one of our friends. But go ahead.
Yes, Luna's. I'll tell you what. Luna is one of the coolest people on the planet. Luna lives such an interesting life. I follow her on Instagram, and I'm just like, dude, she's like really cool. Like one of the coolest people you ever meet probably in your life, and extremely present, and just has an ability to connect with a lot of people. And I think that's the reason why I wanted her to be a part of the project, because, you know, you want to work with people that are just, you know, like good people. And that's a genuine person. And, you know, all of her success, I'm extremely happy for her. She's on another, I feel like she lives on another planet. It's amazing to watch.
She lives on Luna, man.
Yeah.
And no, she's amazing. And of course, we got Michael Vegas and Veronica Leal. Veronica Leal it's crazy. Veronica Leal is from her city. She's like a celebrity from her city, but now, of course, she's living now in Budapest. And a bit high, a lot from Luna from this channel.
Okay.
Yes, man, tell me about the space, man. I cannot go without asking you that.
Yes, Dead Space. Also one of the earlier projects that I did in Los Angeles. Also a filmmaker that was in Florida. So when I was doing all those films in Florida, a bunch of us ended up moving to Los Angeles. So, you know, when you move to Los Angeles, you don't know a lot of people. And so you're reaching out to the people that you do know. And, you know, you're like, hey, what do you got going on? What do you got going on? And a filmmaker that I had worked with here in Orlando, he called me up and said, I'm doing this thing. I'm building the suit. He's like, I need you to be this guy. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like I saw, you know, I didn't play Dead Space, but I saw the suit and I was like, man, this suit's amazing. And they sized it perfectly to my body. And that we did that all in one day. We shot at Laurel Canyon Sound Stages, which is like a really like kind of like historical place to shoot, because they have basically this spaceship on set or in the stage there that kind of people manipulate it. And it's like they shot Firefly Serenity, I think, on that stage or using that set. So we got to, you know, play in there. And for me, it was just a really just fun day. There's that one stunt at the end where I, you know, get wrapped up by a tentacle and I fall on the ground. And we had to do that in one take, because when I hit the ground, the suit was going to break. And we all knew it. Like, it hits the ground, the suit's going to break. And it did break. That was it. But we got it in one take. So I remember that from that day. That was a really cool experience. I mean, just that move. I hear they're going to release a new Dead Space game. I was just, you know, somebody posted on like Facebook or something, like somebody reviewed the live action video. And I just recently rewatched like a fan's reaction of that. And he loved it. And it's, like I said, it's always great when people appreciate the work. You know, that's what it's all about.
I was watching the still photos, man. It's crazy. They recreate the suit, the atmosphere. No, man. Thank you for us as a fan of video games.
Okay, that was a really cool project. It was hot. That suit, I was sweating. I was definitely sweating. It was definitely a workout. But I made a commitment to myself early on. I said, I'm not complaining at all. Like, I'm not going to complain once. You know, I wanted to earn that. But by the end of the day, my hands were swollen. My face was swollen because it was a little too tight, and it was cutting off the circulation to some of my to my hands, to my face.
Jhon, ¿tienes algo más?
Última pregunta, porque yo quiero evidenciar el tráiler, sí o sí, de chorrada. Pero primero cuéntanos su experiencia, men. Una victoria y 5 nominaciones. Yo sé que la victoria es, como está planteada en la mejor edición, en su participación. También cuéntame sobre la experiencia que fue en Barcelona, en Madrid y en Orlando, men. Cuéntanos.
Okay, so unfortunately for Madrid, we couldn't, because of COVID, they didn't have the festival. We couldn't go to Madrid. So we won best editing in Madrid, which was great. But I was hoping to go to Madrid. If it would have been like a live person, like in-person event, I would have totally been in Madrid. I was like ready to just, book a flight on my credit card, sleep in the street. I would have figured it out. But I was excited that we got into the Madrid Film Festival. We got into Dances with Films, which was actually our world premiere. But yeah, I mean, directing and acting, it's difficult because you want to be behind the monitor and you can't really give yourself notes. You're just trying to stay present, and you're going, hey, let me see the footage. Let me play that back for me. Let me see if I like that. And it slows things down. Not that I'm intimidated or I wouldn't do it again. I just don't think I would do it with the same amount of responsibility in front of the camera, because I was the lead. So it was just a lot. But we got through it. I think it came out pretty good.
Man, and congratulations for your award from One Day Notice. I was reading it.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah. San Antonio. Love going to that festival. There's a lot of Latinos in San Antonio, so I love going to that festival. Shout out to Adam Roca, because he's a great festival director.
Oh, man. Bravo.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
No, es honor, man. Qué increíble todo esto, man. Lo último, tus redes sociales. Un saludo a ver Short Adam, todas las plataformas.
Well, you can watch Short Adam on YouTube. That's it. You can watch it on YouTube. My Instagram is Adam Lopez Dreams. My Twitter's Adam Lopez Dreams. My website's not up because I'm broke. And
we too.
My next project is called Nochebuena, and it's a Puerto Rican rom-com. It's a full-length feature film. I'm in pre-production for that right now. I'm excited about it, and hopefully next year that will be out, and then I'll come back on and we'll do this all over again.
Yes. Jhon dice que va a volver cuando salga Nochebuena. Jhon, sácame una duda para también dar este dato. Junto con Transfor, Ortiz es el segundo director puertorriqueño acá, ¿cierto?
Exacto.
You are the second director from Puerto Rico here in the channel, man. So great.
Oh, cool.
We had the amazing Transfor Ortiz. I don't know if the one that made the movie from Vico C. Chuleteo, Vico C. I mean, he's so Puerto Rican.
El que primero dirigió a Daddy Yankee.
Yes, the first one that directed Daddy Yankee. He also, so we are great.
Bueno, y acá se tuvo, de actores, actrices, a Yulitza Berberena y a este.
Yes, we got Yulitza Berberena. And, ¿cómo se llama?
César Farray.
The rapper. César Farray, yes, from Puerto Rico. We have it here in the channel.
Cool. I'm glad you guys got the Puerto Ricans representing.
Man, you're always welcome here. And I know that you were going to go back here, man.
Thank you guys so much. This was fun. This was really cool.
Oh, man. Eso no.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Mucho éxito.
If you guys need help with anything, don't bother. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, okay?
Yo, cuando necesites, sin problemas, ve por él.
Listo. Muchas gracias, man.
Listo,
all right, guys. Bye.
Bye.